my name is Jade Warner. In search of inspiration, I went to New Space Center for Photography, where their current display, Spinning Yarns, was all about telling a story through a simple photograph. Looking through the show, I came across a piece by Carol Golomboski titled Run, Run Fast as You Can. In this piece, he photographs a simple squirrel and then layers on emotion by adding words and other elements on top of the photograph with paint. Her ability to provoke such fear into her audience through a simple photograph really interested me, and it was this that led to my decision to recreate Run, Run Fast as You Can. The process of recreation happened through a series of many weeks. The first step was to talk to my mom about using her old film camera and learning how it worked. Then we realized there was still old film from the 90s sitting around inside the camera. So after I finished that roll, I bought new black and white film from Pro Photo Supply to take the actual photograph of the squirrel. But there was one problem, and there's only a couple taxidermy stores in Portland, and only one carried a squirrel. Unfortunately, at the time I got the film and was ready to take the photo, the store with the squirrel was closed for a few days. So the day they finally opened again, the day the people who developed the film for Pro Photo Supply picked up the film. So the minute the taxidermy store opened, Paxton Gate, I ran in to take the photographs of their stuffed squirrel. The employees there were really helpful and welcoming, and they let me take the photos. I took many photos with my film camera and a couple with my Polaroid just to be safe in case the photos didn't turn out. And as soon as I took a fair amount of photos, I raced up to Pro Photo Supply to give them the film before the developers picked it up. A couple days later, the film was being ready to be picked up. The photos turned out surprisingly well and clear for my first time using a film camera. The next step was to enlarge the photo. I drove over to Kinko's, where I enlarged the photograph to be 8.5 by 11, and because the amount of contrast when enlarged in black and white, the photo was very dark and unclear, so I enlarged it in color, which turned out to be more similar to the original by Golomboski. Next, it was time to layer on the paint. It was clear that Golomboski used stencils to layer on her letters on top of the photograph. I decided to do the same thing, but instead of using store-bought stencils, I created my own using letter prints from the internet and an X-Acto knife. After the lines were created with the ruler and paint, I stenciled on the final touches, the words, "Run, run, fast as you can." Because these words are so symbolic to how the photo evokes so much fear out of his audience, I decided to keep them as my title, just as Golomboski did. This experience for recreation was really long, but it helped expose me to my hobby of film photography, and for that I'm grateful.
Questions?
Good stuff.